years and years and years, we have rode with Al Haymon. Now, what I'm about to say may not be the most likable thing, but it's going to be an honest thing because I that's my thing. Um, a lot of people rode with Al Haymon because Al Haymon is black. So when we see a black man or a black king or queen on top, you want to give them the immediate praises right away. You want to give them the immediate protection. You want to do that. It's innate that you want to stand on them being great, and let's make sure that we hold them up, we uplift them, when we give them passes for all kind of things left and right. And we did that with Al Haymon. He's going to put us at maybe not put us equal, but we're at least going to get a more fair shot. Not going to make us equal. That's how motherfuckers look at Al Haymon. Because before Al Haymon, it was nothing but white people and others that ran all of boxing. So when Al jumps in, it's like, okay, bam. Well, Don King was there for a while, and Don King was, he was putting on great fights. So Al Haymon's coming in, man. Al Haymon's going to put on spectacular fights. The fighters are going to get paid, and there's going to be a more fair shot. Now it's select few fighters are getting paid. Very, very select few fighters. If it was up to that man, then Errol Spence would have never fought Terrence Crawford. At what time are we going to say, hey, Al, hey, man, listen, bro, we put all this faith in you. We rode with you because you was our brother. And we want the best for you, and we want you this, and we wanted that, and we wanted this, and we wanted that. At what time are we supposed to be collecting on this? At what time do we stop giving this man the I'm black pass? At what time? When does this happen? Because the only people that are getting screwed are us black people.
And those are the surprising words of one of the proud channels, members of the Ldbc, Lion Den's boxing community. And as you heard him in his vent, it was a lot longer than that. Shout out to Malachi Williams for posting it. And this is very surprising because the Ldbc, they did all but worship Al Haymon. And as he admitted in the video, because he was black. Now, he's going off on Al Haymon or criticizing Al Haymon's techniques, strategies, and the things that he did. And I think he's right to a certain degree, okay? Because it's a couple ways you can look at it. You have Al's way of doing things. You have the way they're looking at how things are in their eyes, and you have the truth, okay? First, you shouldn't support anybody because of the color of the skin. However, there's nothing wrong with supporting your ethnic group. So I'm not going to sit here and say there's something wrong with that. But the problem is, if you got a new kid on the block, and I said new kid on the block, just a phrase or a statement. You have a new guy on the scene, that's better, I feel, that is promoting boxing like he was. I think he started in 2015 with Premier Boxing Champions. And he has no receipts, okay? He came from the music world. And the only thing that you can go on is the skin color. You're already going into something blind. Just because somebody walks up to you, hey, it's a black guy, doesn't mean that you should support him because you share his same skin color. That doesn't mean that at all. I supported Al Haymon when he first came out because it was more boxing. It was free TV. Okay? It was PBC on Fox. Al Haymon had a brilliant idea with a $1 billion budget to bring boxing back to mainstream television, to make boxing great again. That's the whole idea. That was the whole point, and that was the reason why I supported Al Haymon, and I seen how Oscar De La Hoya, Bob Arum came after him. And I guarantee you, they didn't come after him because he was black. They came after him because he snatched all the damn fighters up, because the guy that actually was in charge of these fighters, i.e. Golden Boy, Richard Schaefer left Golden Boy and brought all of those fighters with him. That's why Oscar De La Hoya was like, hell no, you're not taking my fighters. You know, Bob Arum had some other agenda, like, hey, you're taken away from pay-per-view because a certain amount of promoters, Bob Arum, Don King, Oscar De La Hoya with Golden Boy, all of those cats, those promoters, they had a market. They had a saturated market, and they were already plugged in, and they had it set up where if there was any worthy fight, it was put on pay-per-view. And for them, and the idea of putting on free TV contradicts them with their pay-per-view. Okay? That's the story. You know, and I'm like, okay, why are they hating on him? The first thing didn't come into mind because the dude was black. The first thing I knew was business. I knew, okay, if he's putting all these fighters that used to be on pay-per-view on free TV, and these older, first of all, these old promoters, they're thinking, okay, we're losing tons of money because they're no longer being paid to view 49, 39, 89, 99 a pop to watch these guys fight, and they're on free TV. You turn on Fox and they're there, and the views were way up. Keith Thurman and Robert Guerrero did massive numbers. Sean Porter and Adrian Broner did massive numbers. Okay? I didn't even know Al Haymon was black. It didn't matter to me. It mattered what he was bringing to the table and to the sport of boxing. So they missed the ball already. If you think, hey, just because this dude is black, that's why we're going to support him. Well, you should have thought twice about that, or you should have seen the contents of his character before looking at his skin color. So Al Haymon, and then here's another thing. Al Haymon did not promise anybody black anything. Matter of fact, Al Haymon didn't even do interviews. He's never done an interview. He doesn't care what people thought. He doesn't care what the Ldbc thinks. It was you guys' fault that you followed a guy that probably didn't know who the hell you were. Facts. Now, I know you cared to follow him based on his skin color, but do you think, and did you check with him to make sure that he was down with you guys? No. Okay, and who was next under him? Floyd. You think Floyd really cares about equality? Like, do you really think he cares about only? He says, "I'm for my fighters first," but is he really? Because who co-signed for that damn money for Canelo to come to the PBC, to Fox, to Showtime? Who really co-signed that? It was Floyd. Floyd was the one that financed the money when that shit was going belly up late 2021. Why? Because Canelo, they wanted to see Canelo, which was previously on DAZN, come back over to Showtime in the PBC. So they paid him a lot of money to do it. Okay? And he is far from a black guy. Okay? So they didn't care about that. You guys should have woke up at that point. But I'm glad that you did wake up. But there is a lesson to be learned here. Don't worry about if you want to support certain fighters. And I know boxing fans are some of the racist sons of bitches on the planet. Okay? Let's just call it what it is. And I was naive at one point. I understand. But I refuse to let that dictate who's better than the other fighter. If you're better, it doesn't matter if you're purple, pink, orange, black, white, green, yellow. It does not matter at this point. If you're better, you're just better. Rich, poor, from a rich country, from a poor country. I don't give a shit. I don't care where you're from. If you're good, you're good. And for me, whoever comes from a country that we never heard of, that's representing good boxing skills and practice, you're putting the place that we never heard of on the map. Period. I don't care what else is it known for. It's known for that fighter now. Think about the Philippines. Manny Pacquiao. And I know there was other fighters came from the Philippines, but he was the pinnacle. When you think of Filipino boxing, you're going to think of Manny Pacquiao. Okay? And I'm going to share this story with you. Okay? Because it kind of gets to me when you have people that felt deceived because a guy that was their same skin color, they felt cheated because they thought he was going to do more just because of how he looked. Let me give you an example. I was at my cousin's house. My cousin had a crowd of people. Okay, he had a crowd of people there, maybe about 20. And these were older guys, and they were like older servicemen. They were in the military. And Mayweather was fighting Pacquiao. So this was a huge fight. So I saw it at my cousin's house because my cousin is in the military. And these guys, these old heads, the first thing came out of their mouth, not that Manny Pacquiao was better, not that Floyd was better. Manny Pacquiao's from a poor piece of shit country. And it made me feel like, wow, I don't even want to be in the same room with these people because it's like, that's all you're thinking about? Oh yeah, those people ain't shit over there. And I'm thinking to myself like, what fucking difference does it make where they're from? You know what I mean? Like, that just shows you how racism is taught. That shows you how people are corrupt and people are now starting to wake up with, hey, he shitted on us because he's black. He's supposed to be helping us. He doesn't supposed to be helping you do a fucking thing. He's a businessman. He brought Canelo over and other fighters over because they were good and they were valuable. Obviously, the guys that he had over there that you worship, that you thought the only reason he had them over there because they were black, you're wrong. Because obviously he wasn't giving them the money that they felt they deserved because they didn't deserve anything because he treated them like slaves. They couldn't fight other people. He wouldn't allow them to fight other people. Like you mentioned, Errol Spence. Errol Spence fought who Al Haymon wanted him to fight until he said enough is enough. And he went out of that circle of Al Haymon. He got off that island. And what happened? He got his ass whooped. That's what happened. Period. Okay, so before you assume that another black guy, okay, I'm not done. Another black guy is going to help you because he's black. You need to see what he does first before parading the black fist. Because what could happen, that shit could blow up in your face. Now you're looking like, oh, we were screwed over. And obviously, it doesn't matter if you're black, white, people, purple, or pink. What they're going to do for you is what they're going to do. Their objectives will eventually show, and it doesn't matter what color to see that. You have a problem with color, not everyone else, hopefully. Okay? Now, speaking of, hey, all we had was white guys or others, he calls them. What the fuck about Don King? Don King is 91 years old. That man he's still around. He ain't as big as he used to be, but he's still around. The dude been around since the 60s. Facts. Him and Bob Arum are the same age. Those dudes, Bob Arum was around longer. But when Don King came through with Only in America, baby, right? Just sign the paper. We're gonna fill in the rest later. Those type of guys. Don King was a representation. He put on some great cards, don't get me wrong, but he did a whole lot of bullshit. Okay? And people was not talking about Don King because he was black. They were talking about Don King because he was crooked. Okay? He did some interesting shit when he was in the sport of boxing. He just doesn't have the stable like he used to have. But he was around for a very long time. And I don't know how old this guy is. I don't know him really at all. But if he's old enough to remember, Don King did a lot of shit to a lot of fighters that a lot of fighters didn't appreciate. And the last thing they were talking about was his skin color. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of the Ldbc, one of the channels, waking up to Al Haymon and his practices. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!